Hey everybody, this is Jason McDonald from Riggs Cat, and we're bringing you another episode of Life Uncut. Today we've got a treat for you. We've got a couple of guests here that we're going to talk about National Work Zone Awareness Week, and this is about safety. This is about safety on our job sites. This is about safety for everybody, the driving public, contractors, construction equipment companies. We're proud to be able to talk about safety today, and with us we've got two people that are very involved in safety in Arkansas, and that's Mr. D.B. Hill, D.B. Hill Contracting, and then Park Estes, who is the executive director of the Asphalt Pavement Association, Arkansas Asphalt Pavement Association. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a brisk morning here in Arkansas. Next week, April 26th, is the kickoff of National Work Zone Awareness Week. So that is to bring awareness to all work zones in the state of Arkansas. Today, our focus is primarily highway work zones, and having Mr. Hill and Park in here with us today gives us a unique opportunity to bring a lot of experience to why we need to have more focus on work zone safety in the state. Mr. Hill, in your career, there's a reason why you have become so passionate about work zone safety in the state of Arkansas. Can you give us just a little bit of background as to what drives that in you, why that becomes something that is just so important, and why you carry that flag? Because you do. In different industry groups, you carry that safety flag, which is so important. Could you give us a little bit of background there?
Jason, there's 2 or 3 reasons I'm passionate about it. Number one are our employees. I mean, it's a trite saying to say we want you to be able to go home at night, but that is exactly what it is. That they deserve a place that's safe to where they can get home in the evenings. That's overused, but it's the truth. Another reason is I have stood on the side of interstate highways. I've stood on the side of primary and secondary highways with traffic going by you virtually as fast as they can go. And it's frightening, and those 2 are the biggest reasons that I am passionate about it. Interstate highway work zones are different than a Highway 70 work zone, for instance, between Benton and Hot Springs. In the speed of the traffic, in some of those instances, you have flagging operations on secondary type roads, and flagmen are at risk of people running up on them and not seeing them. Interstate work zones are just pure speed, working 12 feet away from you. So those are the 2 things that drive me. I see nothing wrong with slowing down for brief periods of time and paying attention to what you're doing, because we all deserve a safe workplace.
Yes, sir. In today's world, with everything is faster, everyone is distracted. I mean, how many incidents, Park, do we see a year? I mean, it's on the rise. I know
it is. You're spot on. It's on the rise, and that's what's so disturbing about what's going on here is we emphasize work zone safety, but for some reason the fatalities and the crashes are still on the rise. Since 2013 to 2019, there's actually been a 42% increase in fatalities in work zones. And there's in 2019, which is the latest figures that we have, there were 115,000 crashes with 38,000 injuries and 842 fatalities in the nation. And again, that represents a 42% increase. 67% of all the contractors in the United States report that they've had crashes in their work zone. That's almost 7 out of 10. I mean, when you look at the figures, it's just alarming. It really takes you back. And you know, we talk about protecting our workers, and that is our primary focus as we're in the contracting industry, of course, right? But what's lost in there is by doing that, we're really trying to protect the traveling public as well, because in all actuality, or the reality of it is there's more drivers and passengers that are killed in work zones than there are workers. So we're actually trying to help the driving public with our awareness of work zone safety, because we're really trying to protect everybody, the drivers, the passengers, and the workers.
And we also are trying to protect, of course, this is Arkansas, we're trying to protect the Arkansas Department of Transportation employees as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're out there with us just like, I mean, if one of your trucks, one of your service trucks comes out there, which they do,
Yes.
they need to be just as safe as any of the rest of us in the public, just like Park says.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you sometimes figures, you know, become mundane, but when you look at these, it really does emphasize why it's so important to do what we do. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says that there's a crash every 5 minutes, averaging 2 deaths a day in work zones.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
that's staggering if you stop and look at that.
It really is.
When we look at getting the word out about work zone safety, and we start talking about responsibility, there's a responsibility for the driving public, there's a responsibility for the highway departments, there's a responsibility for the contractors, equipment suppliers. We all have a stake in this game. What would be, if you had to point one thing or two things out, Mr. Hill, for the driving public, what would you reach out if you could get the driving public's attention and you could tell them this week we need you to do this and learn how to do this and do that going forward, what would that be?
As the public enters one of our projects, there is always signage, always, at the beginnings and the ends of these jobs. Within those advanced warning signs, there are signs that indicate what's going to be going on, say in the next half mile to mile. If there's a flagging operation, for instance, on a 2-lane highway, those signs tell you what's coming. When you start seeing those signs, you need to start slowing down and paying attention to what's coming. If it's on interstate type work, there are signs telling you that you need to merge left, do not pass, speed reduced. I think the biggest thing is to pay attention to the signs, because they're there for you. They're going to tell you what's going on. There's what's called variable changeable message boards, the flashing signs. They're telling you what's going on. I think if people would pay attention to those, some of these statistics that Park talks about would be reduced.
We'll go down. The information now is out there.
Yes.
We just got to read it and understand it. And it's easy to read it and it's easy to understand, I guess.
Yes, sir. I mean, the ARDot has I Drive Arkansas. If you're inclined to look at a phone, it's got a lot of that information on it. But just right down to where the work's going on is an orange and black sign that's going to tell you what's down the road.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's really just as simple as that.
It is, Jason. I mean, it says when the work zone ends on the interstate, when you get through one of those lane closures, the regulatory speeds, the normal speed signs are again posted telling you that you can get back up to normal interstate speeds. It's it's there.
Right, right. Well, you can only have communication if you've got someone delivering and receiving
Right.
that communication, and the communication's out there.
Yes, sir,
It is being delivered,
Yeah.
and so we've
It
got to
is.
make sure that we get the note out there that that communication has to be received. It's not just for the workers that are there.
Right.
It's for the driving public. It's for everybody involved that we slow down, we concentrate, we focus, we put our devices away all the time, but especially in the work zone. And we make ourselves aware. It's exactly what it is. We make ourselves aware of what's going on.
Right, that's exactly right. You know, and Jason, the tag on a little bit of what DB said, rear end crashes are the number one type of accident in a work zone. And why does that happen? You know, people are in a hurry. You know, they want to get around that one car before they get into the construction zone, you know, to get one car ahead, you know, get somewhere 5 minutes faster than what they were. And, you know, I wonder sometimes if it doesn't just come down to that they see so many work zones, they go through so many a day that they just start getting numb to it a little bit and don't really think about the consequences of the driving in the work zones and what the consequences could be of not, you know, adhering to the speed limits and things. You know, it's distracted driving, inattentive driving. Also, you know, cell phone usage is a huge thing, as you mentioned just a second ago as well. So, you know, the only way we're going to get, you know, our goal is 0 deaths. I mean, quite frankly, we don't want anybody to die in a work zone, a worker or a driver. But we can't get there unless everybody does their part, and that's what we're working towards is a zero death in work zones.
Yeah. Well, we definitely want to make sure that our friends and our family get home every day safe, just like you started with, Mr. Hill. That is what it's about. It's about people. It's about moms and dads that have kids to take care of, and
Exactly right.
making sure we get them home safe every day, and bringing awareness to that is what it's all of our job to do that, because we can only put the right amount of communication out there so much.
Right.
We have to have somebody to receive it. And so that's what we're wanting to do today, is push that out as much as we can to get people to receive that communication and improve work zone safety.
Yeah, well, we certainly appreciate, you know, Riggs offering this opportunity to talk about this, to highlight that. It's very important. We can't push it out. We can't talk about it enough. We talk about Work Zone Awareness Week, and that is a good thing to have, but really we ought to have a Work Zone Awareness Day every day when you get right down to it. But you know, the week we just emphasize it, but we should be talking about it daily.
Yep. Well, it has been a treat to have you guys up here at Riggs today, and to get so much experience and knowledge about this subject here to help us push this out, because we're about to push this out in every available channel that we have. Because we want to do our part in increasing work zone awareness, because like you say, our people are there too, but it's about
Absolutely.
everybody's people. So
You bet.
I just want to join Park, Jason, in thanking you for
yes, sir.
asking us to be a part of this. Riggs is always helpful to our industry, and this is just another example of how you all support us in doing a good job of that. So we do appreciate your
I
efforts
appreciate
to
that.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Well said.
have us
Appreciate
here
it.
this morning.
Okay, thank you. All right.